Brute.
Alright boys, here's a good old Brute we're gonna be working on. It doesn't look like it has a whole lot of issues. These headlights could use a polish. Paint's chipping here a little bit. But other than that, it does not look bad. Brute is on the trailer. Alright boys, the Brute is secured. I am so freaking excited because I've always liked Brutes. I mean, call me a window licker in the comments, I don't care. But I've always loved Brutes. They're like the next best thing to Can-Ams. And what it seems to me is that I turned the dash on, put a battery charger up to it, and it's giving me a low oil sign. I checked the dipstick and it has literally no oil in it. And that could be why it's not starting. So let's just go ahead and change the oil and see what it does then. Alright boys, we just filled her up with oil and still not turning on or starting, but I have an idea of why the fuel pump isn't engaging. The battery's dead, so it probably needs to charge for a little bit longer before we can tell if that fixed the problem. But I'll just cut you guys back in whenever the battery's charged. Alright boys, it is a few days later and I managed to get the Brute started, but she's just not running right even with brand new gas in it and stuff. So now I'm going to be figuring out with you guys how in the world to take these carburetors off. I mean, it seems like a dual carburetor, but yeah, they're right down in there. They seem kind of nasty. They probably need a clean. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how to take the side plastics off and whatnot and try to get this airbox off.
It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. Life is but a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it.
Alrighty, we finally got this side plastic off. It was a chore. And by the way, you have to take this shifter knob off. All I had to do was just twist it off with my hands. Didn't have to do anything other than that. You also have to take this off, take it loose rather. You can't because of the cigarette lighter or whatever that is there. Yeah, you have to take that loose because there's a hidden little screw behind there. You have to take this whole piece off and then you can finally get this cover off. And yeah, now I just have to figure out how to get this airbox off to get to the carburetors. Alright, so finally got the airbox off. It was honestly not too hard. It's just pretty much take off all the screws that you see. It just wasn't hard. But now I'm just gonna, just for giggles, spray some ether in here and see if it'll finally start running right. I mean, it's just a wing and a prayer. I just want to see if I can make this thing go by any chance. Alright, so about after 10 minutes of spraying ether into the carbs and trying to choke it with my hand, it finally started, but it's still not running right. I mean, it's running, but it's not running right. Like, look. Actually, now it's running better. And I used to completely bog out as soon as you do that, but yeah, it's getting there.
A few moments later.
Good evening everyone, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to take off the carb off of a Brute Force 650 and clean it. So I already have the boots loosened. It's fairly obvious how you do it. You just there's a little screw right there. See? That one right there. You loosen it off both sides. The other side looks the exact same. Then you should end up with something like this. Now, I already took the throttle cable off, but I figured I would go ahead and show you how to take everything else apart. I will put the throttle cable back together so I can show you how to take that apart as well. Alright, so first things first, you're going to want to take your throttle off. Now, as you can see here, I've got it disconnected again. So mine's loose, obviously, because I had to put it back together. But you're going to want to loosen this little nut right here. Get this completely off. And you see this little slot right here? You're going to want to slide that wire right through that slot. Please bear with me for a second. Let me just go ahead and do it like that and make it a little bit easier myself. See, not too difficult. The throttle is off now. You're gonna want to take this fuel line off. It's very simple. You just take it off, put a little bit of force behind it, and it comes right off. Then you're gonna want to take off all these electrical components. I can even do it with just one hand. Just pop them off like so. There should be two right here. Just wiggle them off just like that. Now your carburetor is completely loose and you can move on to the chokes. So this one, I didn't put the screw back in because I didn't feel it necessary, but as you can see here, there's this little plate right here. There's going to be a screw right here. You have to unloosen this screw or else the choke cable will not come back off. So you just unloosen the screw that's right here, and this choke should pop right out like so. This choke on the other side might have a little bit of difficulties coming out, but all I do is just lightly tug on it and it comes right off. And congratulations, you have taken the carburetor off of Brute Force 650. Alright, once you get this thing open, you want to bust open your carburetor cleaner. Doesn't take but a second. And boom, you're done. They're on. Boom, you're done. Now, the issue is whenever you're cleaning a carburetor, what you're cleaning is these jets. You want to make sure the gas is going to get all the way through them. So what you got to do is just spray it through. And make sure it's going to come out the other side, which I will show how to do in a second. Okay, I got the nozzle inside the jet. As you can see, it is coming out perfectly. Now I'm going to do it in another jet, a smaller one. And it is not coming out. So that's where the issue is this tiny jet right here. Let me show that to the camera. That is not letting fuel through, at least not enough. So we're just gonna get a good old flat tip screwdriver. Unscrew this right quick, shouldn't take much. Make sure you can see through it, which I actually can't. Yeah, you cannot see through this at all. So what you're going to want to do now is take a thin wire, thinnest you can find, even one from a wire wheel would work, and just try to work it in there. much as you can. This one's just a little bit too big. I'm probably gonna have to get a smaller wire. But just try to get it in there as much as you can. Let's see if I can see through it now. Nope, still can't. So what I like to do at this point is get a wire wheel, get some cutters. So these are my cutters. And then just clip off a piece, just like so. And just boom. Take it with your needle nose pliers. You want to take your needle nose pliers, take the little, what in the world? Take it like so, and just stick it in there. Try not to drop it, and just try to work it in there just as much as you can. All right, now, you probably won't be able to see it on the camera. Okay, there you go. See, that's as tiny as a hole as you need. Now screw that right back in there. And that's what you need. I already know that these big jets are clean. I mean, the big jet is nice and clean. Just for giggles, I'm gonna spray it in this smaller hole right here. I'm not even sure what that is. But just go ahead and spray it in there just for giggles. Clear everything up, you know. All right. Now slap the cover back on here. All right, now let's go ahead and get our carburetor cleaner once again. Spray down in there in the larger jet. Dang it, hold on. Okay, there it went. It's definitely getting feel through it. Let's try the smaller jet. Smaller jet is not getting stuff through it once again, so same thing, we're just gonna crack it open like so. Really easy. Once again, you cannot see through this. So, I'm going to take the little thing right here. Not even sure what you're supposed to call this. Go through this end first. Just really try to get that in there. All right, good news. I can breathe through it, but I now can see through it. Perfect. You can now successfully see through this. So same thing. Actually, this bowl is just a little bit less clean. So, uh-oh. All right, never mind. It's letting feel through. That's perfect. So I'm just gonna spray in there, make sure everything is nice and clean. All right, now let's slap the bowl back on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you clean a Brute Force 650 carburetor. Ladies and gentlemen, our package has arrived. Let's get a good, nice shot of my address there. Yes, this is the master cylinder for this Brute. As you can see, it's done. And I know that's the reason why it's doing that is because the bleeders are open, because these front brakes just lock up, and that's just that. But we finally got the new master cylinder in. I've been waiting forever, and that is my new GoPro battery, so that way next time I go ride, you guys don't have to just get like half of the ride. Oh my gosh, boys, dude, you guys do not know how big of an update we have on the Brute. I put the airbags back on, and it's running so good right now. Dude, you guys do not understand how fast this thing is. Alright boys, huge update on the Brute. I finally got this thing running right. I mean, it sputtered just a little bit, I'm not sure why, But this thing is running pretty dang good for the most part. Like, oh my goodness, guys, this thing is a rocket freaking shit. Dude, I was barely on the throttle when I did that. I have to get myself one of these, dude. This thing is a rocket ship. This is only a 650. This isn't even 750. Oh man, this thing is freaking insane. I'll do another pull down the road after this. Woo! 0 to 60. Fastest four I've ever been on by a mile. This thing is insane. I really hope that he'll be willing to sell this thing to me once he gets done with it. That's the owner, I mean. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it's still sputtering just a little bit. Let's do a pull on this thing from 0 miles an hour. Alright. Just like that. And it's spinning on pavement too. Dude, this thing is insane. I want one so bad. Oh man. Huge freaking success. It's not running like perfectly. Like it's got a little bit of sputtering to it, but